All right. This. Do not be afraid of going to court, right? Do not be like. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna show you guys. All right. Like. All right. So I this is my court papers, right? I'm going to court for. What was it? Some lady said I stole her dog. Okay. The dog was walking around the street. I put it in my backyard. She's saying I stole it. Okay. Now here, this is why I'm telling you, don't be afraid of getting arrested, or don't be afraid of any of this shit, right? Because there's the initial, right? But then once that initial is over, right, and you realize who you're dealing with people, and 99% of people at their jobs barely can make it, right? Like if failing was 65 people, 99% of their people do their job 66, right? You think the prosecutor is any different? You think the judge is any different? I just went to court and there was 15 people, right? They're all idiots. Every single one of them is an idiot. And I'm going to show you, this is how you know, don't be afraid. They're idiots. Just don't be an idiot and you'll be fine. So they're saying, hey, Chris, you stole her dog. We're going to file official charges, and that said you stole her dog. Now you go to court, right? And I'm in there and I'm like, I don't feel like these charges should be filed because she's never proven it's her dog. And then the judge and all these idiots are like, well, yeah, that's what you do at trial. No, that's what you do at trial? You don't prove it's her dog at trial, you fucking morons. You do that before trial, right? So the whole trial now is just me going, prove it's your dog. And then the prosecutor, do you not see how retarded this is? Right? Like, shouldn't you have proved it was her dog before you pressed the charges? No, they're idiots. They're fucking idiots. They don't know. They're literally robots. I watched this man, Andy Buholtz, they call his name is Chris Bloltz, whatever is the district attorney, the prosecutor. He's a moron. He's reading a script. On September 12th, the defendant, and then I was just like, you never proved it's her dog. And that's it. Like, they're so incompetent, right? And so I'm going to defend myself, and they're like, oh, well, we got to make sure you can defend yourself. I'm like, okay, so you can be not competent to stand trial, right? What about if they find me not competent to defend myself? I'm not competent to defend myself, then how the fuck can I stand trial? Oh, we're going to put somebody to be competent for you. So shouldn't they go to prison? I'm telling you, the whole system is just fucking retarded. Do not be afraid of it. Do not be afraid of the system, right? The people who are running the system are morons. They are the bottom of the barrel. It's Jiffy Lube, right? Like the people that run the courts are do you know where the smart people go? Private industry. You go to the private sector, right? Have you ever had the government do work for you, right? You ever have like the utility company who gets paid by the government come in and do work? How do they leave it? Horrible. The tools everywhere, just the park wherever because they're garbage. They're garbage at what they do, and this is how they make it to where they're at. So, yeah, this how I'm going to. So he was like, he offered me a plea. He was like, oh, how does 6 months probation sound? I was like, you haven't even proven it's her dog. How are you going to even? And then I go to the court, the judge, and I'm like, don't you think that like they should have to prove it's her dog before I accept a plea for stealing someone else's dog? And she was like, well, these are things that you take care of at trial. I'm like, holy fuck. I take care of the plea deal at trial? Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? They're so used to going through their motions. They're robots. They're so used to going through this thing that it's a script. Like I told you, he was reading a script. He's going 6 months probation, 5 foreign court costs with adjudication. Like he has no critical thinking. And when you ask them something that requires critical thinking, done. Right? So I'm like, hey, don't you think whether it's her dog or not would affect what the plea deal would be? Yeah, that's why you deal with that at trial. If I'm going to trial, I didn't take a plea deal. So how can I negotiate a plea deal if we don't have whose dog it is? Again, this is just the ridiculous. And on top of that, if that incompetence wasn't enough, I'll be the state to me. Hey, Chris, you assaulted her. Oh, wait, no, you didn't. That's exactly what they did. The state pressed charges of assault, waited a month, and then said I didn't do it. Is that not crying wolf? Oh, so I assaulted her. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I stole her dog. Are you sure? Wait, no, I didn't? No? Like, just incompetence all around. I'll keep you updated on as it goes. So I got to go to the 30th for a court to see if, like, they're going to say, oh, well, we're going to determine if you can defend yourself. Yeah, because they don't want people defending yourself. They want morons, bro. I watched the lawyer who I fired and gave me a refund on a non-refundable deposit because he's a moron. Another great story. You gotta be right, Chris. You just have to be right. The lawyer, when I remember speaking to the head lawyer, like the firm, and I was like, well, shouldn't he be calling the vets to see if he can find out if somebody else's name is on this dog's records? Because then it wouldn't be her dog. I would like, if we had that paper, that would be good for our case, right? And the lawyer was like, yeah. And I was like, well, then how come Nick didn't do that? And he was like, well, that's a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, it's a lot of work. That's why you're giving me my deposit back because you're incompetent, right? And that's when he got all pissed off, and then he ripped up the check and threw it in my face and was like, you just have to be right, Chris. You just have to be right. And he also said that I just cost myself $3,000 and I'll never see that money. Even though, again, moron, a lawyer, complete moron, didn't realize that he had emailed all of this to me, and an email is actually a legal contract, so he was legally binded to give me that money after he sent the contract and said that he would. So when he ripped up the check and threw it in my face and said, I'll never see that money, that was just his ego talking, right? It was just his ego in the moment. And he ended up writing me another check and mailing it, which... it never got here. So then when I went to court to do for them to remove me as their client, they had to write another check. So they wrote me 3 checks because of how stupid they were. They wouldn't have had to write any if they would have just handled the case. But these robots, these NPCs are so retarded. If you bring them anything that's off of their script, right? Boom. Their head blows up. I remember Dan was a lawyer for Nick, and Dan was like, well, Nick worked really hard to get you a continuance. Right? He worked really hard to get a continuance, but couldn't work hard enough to call those vets and see who the real owner of those dogs are. So, they're all incompetent. They're all incompetent. The state is incompetent. So, don't be afraid.